Episode 2 of another podcast. We're doing it
We
consistently. One of the questions that, the only question that we had in our comments last week was, what was our relationship between each other?
Oh, really? That's
Yep.
funny. Usually we always say that, and this time we didn't.
So Josiah's my cousin.
Yep.
We've known each other forever.
Yep. Since I was born.
Since you were born. Yep. And why don't you tell them about what you do?
Well, I'm a single dad of a 7-year-old boy, so that's most of my time.
He watches all our episodes.
He's here listening, so. But outside of that, I'm a data scientist at a convenience store here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so I spend a lot of time doing that. A lot of time with my son.
You work in the corporate offices for the convenience stores.
Yep. I do data science work with them. But yeah, and I watch a lot of sports. Like to play a lot of sports.
Which is
that's
why
pretty much my life.
Our last episode was like 25 minutes of football.
Yeah, we were like 80% football last time.
Which might end up being the case again today, but I do have some thoughts in my head that I
got other stuff we could talk about,
Yeah.
but we could talk about football the whole time if you guys
Yeah.
like it, so just let us know if that's what you like.
I had a what's the word I'm looking for? Profound thought this week about being a dad and how, Colin, he's 7 years old.
Colin 7, yep.
I got 2 kids. Oliver's 5, Indy's 3, and they grow up real fast.
They do.
And it makes me realize that the asset that is more important than anything is our time, which is why I want this podcast to blow up, because if we could spend 12 hours doing this rather than 40 hours doing what we currently do right now, it'd be pretty great.
For sure.
Because our time would be more available.
Yeah, definitely.
Time
Time is definitely the most valuable thing.
It's more valuable than money.
It really
You want to
is.
find the things that you can do that makes you more money with less time.
Yeah.
Which is why passive income is always something that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Something that makes me money while I'm
Usually acquiring that thing, though, takes a bit more work.
yeah it does. But yeah, that was my profound thought.
Definitely. And the older your kids get, the less time you get with them, because
Yeah.
they just start doing other stuff. When they're little, use as much time as you can have with them. But when they get older, it has to be how much time you and them can have together, because they just
Right.
start doing other stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So you lose time with your kids real fast.
Yeah, this is Oliver's first year of school. He just hit kindergarten, and
Yeah.
he's gone during the day. And I work a lot of evenings right now, so during the week, I barely get to see him.
Yeah, it's easy to let that time slide by really fast, too.
Yeah.
But it also, at least for me, it encourages me to make sure we do fun stuff, like on the weekends
Right.
and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. Like we went to the fair this Sunday, and that was super fun.
Yeah.
And also the fair is really expensive. My
how much
goodness.
is it to get in this year? I didn't go this year.
Yeah, so it cost us $60 to get in for the 4 of us.
Wow.
And then they love riding rides,
Yeah, but the rides are
but
pretty
the rides are
expensive,
pretty
right?
expensive.
Right.
And they hide it behind tickets. So we got I think it was 60 tickets for $80.
Yeah.
And each ride costs between 4 to 6 tickets
Right.
per person.
Right.
So we're all riding these rides together. So that's what, 16 tickets a ride, and that's more than 20% of the $80.
Yeah,
So
for
what is
sure.
that? That's like $16 for us all to ride every
Per
single
ride,
time.
yeah.
Per ride, which is ridiculous. Thanks, inflation.
Right. Yeah, we didn't get to go to the fair this year. Cullen wanted to go, but we'll go next year.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Other than it's super expensive.
Yeah, I figure next year, too, he should be able to do most of the rides, so it'll be more fun anyways. This year, he probably would have been a bit past, the little kid rides,
Right.
but not really big enough to do any of the fun rides.
I think actually he might
have been big enough, but
yeah, he probably could have ridden almost everything as long as you rode it with him, because it was close to the case for Oliver, and Oliver's
really?
like a couple inches
I
shorter.
know
than
last
me.
year we went, he was really close, so yeah, that might have been true that this year he'd have been good.
In Indy, we had to have her in really thick boots.
Oh, nice.
Standing
Yeah,
on her
right.
tippy toes. And then we did her hair where it was super tall. So
You came prepared.
so she could ride.
Too
some
short.
of
No,
the
she's not. Lift that hair up.
stuff. And she loved it. She got to ride some rides she shouldn't have been able to. It was fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I wanted to ask what you thought, or if you had seen anything interesting about the whole Israel attack that happened not too long ago.
Fill me in. What exactly happened? I mean, because I've seen a little bit on it, but I don't really know too much.
I don't know too much either, but also because like what you're told is probably not really true most of the time, so it's hard to know what to believe. But as far as from my understanding is that there's a terrorist group that attacked Israel.
Right, from Gaza, right?
From Gaza, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know any more details about it, but we know that happened. We don't know why or what it entails or anything like that, but it's, I don't know, interesting at least because it's definitely a big deal. And I don't know, there's just a lot of crazy stuff going on around the world right now.
Yeah,
With the Ukraine-Russia war and
now
our country
Gaza,
has its own
Israel.
problems.
Yeah, our country has its own problems. I read somebody. I mean, I know nothing about this really. My information is little, but I do
Right.
spend some time on Twitter now called X, and just
Right.
kind of reading what people's reactions were. And somebody said that if there's enough wars started, America being the world police will start a draft. And
Definitely, like that seems like that could happen if things continue to escalate.
yeah, and that sounds terrifying.
For sure, I can't believe that it's not even that long ago, like World War II, that we had a draft and
I know.
and that people were up for it. But now I feel like if our country came out and said we're having a draft, I don't think people would really be okay.
Yeah,
with
I don't know how that would go over with now.
I just
with,
don't
like,
really know
these
how it
days.
even made sense. What is that, like 80 years ago that it was World War II? Even just 80 years ago, it doesn't seem like that long, that we were okay with just saying, all right, all of the men in their 20s have to go to war. Sorry if you don't like it.
Right, that sounds terrifying. Sounds terrifying. I would not like the idea of the world being in a state where when my son hits 20 years old, he has no other choice other than to
Yeah, right.
go to war.
If you get to that point and your son's like, hey, I want to join the military because, like, I want to support that cause, sure, because you're an adult and you want to make that choice. But if you don't want to make that choice, no one should be like, hey, you got to go to war and probably die.
Yeah, no, it sounds awful. But yeah, I mean, I've seen some snippets on the internet about it, but I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time.
Yeah, it
Looking
makes you
into
think,
it.
though, too, in terms of, like, what's their next terrorist attack plan, you know?
Right.
Because it could easily be our country next.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I did see is that Israel was preparing to like all out just straight up bomb the heck out of Gaza.
What's crazy is that Israel has, like, the strongest borders of any country in the world ever, and we currently have no borders.
I know. We're letting people in.
So if those terrorist people can get into Israel, they're already here probably. If they just decided they wanted to do an attack, they could do it at any time.
Also terrifying.
Right? Right? Yeah, we're just let people flow into our country illegally all the time right now.
It's not good.
It's crazy.
No, there's got to be some kind of like standard, or I mean, security. I understand like letting people come to America and like get an opportunity to try to achieve the American dream.
Right.
But there's the reason why there's a process.
Right, there's a process because otherwise other countries just ship off thousands of people at a time and drop them off in our country, and these people have nothing to do here or don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And we just have to take care of them.
Yeah.
But we can't even take care of the people that need to be taken care of here.
No, we've got our own problems.
Right.
And stacking problems on problems probably would not be helpful.
Definitely makes it worse.
Definitely makes it worse. But football.
Yeah, so anything interesting with football this week that you
So-
want to talk about?
James Conner is on IR.
Yep. Also, Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson is
Yeah.
is not on IR yet.
No, he's on IR now.
Oh,
Yeah, he got put on IR today.
today? Okay,
Yep.
I didn't see that. So that
Yeah,
means
so he's at least 4 weeks out.
4 weeks out. James Conner's 4 weeks out at least.
Yep.
And then also it looks like Anthony Richardson might be out for a bit. He's like getting a second opinion on his shoulder injury.
Yeah, I think he's for sure out this week. I don't think they're putting him in IR, so probably won't be long term, but it's going to be at least a few.
That
weeks.
means Minshew's up.
Yeah, Minshew's going to get the start this week.
What do you think about Minshew in that position? Do you think he's going to actually be a relevant quarterback, or is he going to be like a Zach Wilson?
No, Minshew's way better than Zach Wilson.
He's definitely better than Zach Wilson, but do you think within the Colts system he'll be able to do something that is
yeah, I mean,
worth
quarterbacks that I
fantasy
think
football?
Gardner Minshew would be better than while he's starting, there's probably at least 10. I mean, Josh Dobbs, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. I mean, there's a pretty
Jones
decent.
has looked
There's a
terrible.
pretty decent list of guys that Minshew's definitely better than.
Who's the worst quarterback in the league right now?
It's got to be really close to being Mac Jones, right?
Mac Jones and what? Actually, Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson's better than Mac Jones right now.
He's looked decent
Yeah.
for Zach Wilson over the last few weeks.
I mean, at least he moved the ball a bit here and there. They scored some points. They won this week, right?
They did. Who'd they beat? They beat
The Broncos.
The Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Not that it's an impressive win,
No.
but I don't think Mac Jones could have done it right now.
No. What was it? We were looking at stats. The New England Patriots have scored a total of 3 points over the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
That's
Mac Jones'
pretty
total
bad.
fantasy points over the last 2 weeks is -1.
So he's probably the worst quarterback in the league right now.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy because he had like a 30-point fantasy week.
His
in
first week was
one.
pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
his first week was pretty good.
Okay, so do you think that who's the backup for James Conner? It's like a NZ something.
I don't know. The guy that I
gotta
saw
look it
getting carries after Connor was out, I had never heard of. And
Yeah, he's the like
I
one
think
of the
he was an undrafted guy this year or last year.
he's one of the top waiver wire pickups right now. His name
Well,
is
I mean, I'm sure he will be if.
Amari Demercado.
Yeah.
Demercado, something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about him. I know he wasn't drafted.
He wasn't drafted. He had 10 carries, like 42 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
After James Conner went out.
Right.
So if he would have started the entire game, he probably would have got more opportunity and produced.
Yeah, he probably could have got
Some
another
more points.
8 carries or so. Maybe though. I mean, they also have running back Keontae Ingram, who I don't know if he was just a healthy scratch or if he was hurt, but he was one of their draft picks last year. So I mean, maybe they get him the ball a bit more now that they know they don't have James Conner. So we'll have to see and see what they do.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them are going to be anything special.
Yeah, it seems like Arizona is pretty run heavy. I mean, that's why James Conner was looking pretty good. They were
Well, they had to be
relying
run
on-
heavy because otherwise you're putting the ball in Josh Dobbs' hands all the time.
He hasn't looked. Dobbs has not looked bad.
I think he's only looked bad because they've been able to be run heavy.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a running back to rely on anymore, which was James Conner, they might have to rely on Josh Dobbs more, and we might find out that he's not good in that situation.
Well, he's better than Mac Jones.
He looks better than Mac Jones.
The next up is Osborne. I think it's Kyle Osborne.
KJ Osborne.
KJ Osborne.
Yeah, KJ Osborne is going to be a great play with Justin Jefferson out, I think.
With Justin Jefferson being out, he got 9 targets before that game ended. Once
Yeah.
Justin
I
Jefferson
mean, he
went out.
already gets targets even when
Yeah,
Jefferson's
and
in.
he's already scored
usually
2
like a 5-target
touchdowns.
guy.
Yeah, 5 targets. He's already scored 2 touchdowns with Justin Jefferson being active. I think that he could be a pretty good wide receiver.
He should be. I mean, last
While
year
Justin
also,
Jefferson is
he
out.
had some great weeks last year whenever
He had a
Thielen was
great
out.
end of the year. He had like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah,
where it
whenever
was like-
Thielen was out and he could be the number 2, he's always looked good.
Yeah.
And so he'll be the number 2 now,
Who do you think benefits more, KJ Osborne or Addison?
Osborne. I mean, Addison's already been pretty relevant. I don't think he'll see that much of a boost.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to get more targets, really. He's already been getting a ton of targets.
Yeah.
They can't go up that much. I mean, he might get an extra target here and there per game. But Osborne will definitely see an increase in targets.
Yeah, he definitely
I mean,
will. He did.
Hawkinson could benefit a lot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hawkinson's already like top 3 tight end.
Top 3, yeah, for sure, I think.
Who's the top 3 in your mind?
Kelsey, Hawkinson, and Andrews probably.
No, it's not Andrews.
Why? Because you like Laporta so much?
No, I do think that Laporta is.
It might not be Andrews. I threw him in as the 3rd. I think Hawkinson and Kelsey are 2.
Also,
and
Kittle had 3 touchdowns this past week.
True, but the other 5 weeks before that, he's been pretty bad.
That's true. Well, he's been mainly used as a blocker.
Yeah, well, he's still going to do that. He's going to have a lot of
Yeah.
games like that.
He's
I mean,
probably
Kittle's a
gonna
hard
be-
guy to start. But Kittle's still a top 5 tight end just
Top
because.
5, I would definitely put Laporta at that number 3 spot though, because he keeps producing. Even with
So you think Laporta's going to score more points than Mark Andrews the rest of the year?
yeah, we have that. What was the bet? Oh no,
That was Kyle Pitts.
that's Kyle Pitts. Yeah, I think Laporta will probably outdo Andrews.
Okay, we want to double our bet.
Double our bet. What is it? $60, and Laporta's got to score more fantasy
He's got to
points.
score more points than Kyle Pitts rookie year.
Yeah, that's
and
one
Mark
bet.
Andrews this year.
That's one bet. Another bet is Mark Andrews has to outscore him on fantasy points by
Yeah,
the end
this
of the
year.
This year.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. One of us is going to make $60.
Well,
Or we could win
it
both.
could just wash out.
Yeah, or we could both win one and then nothing
Right.
happens.
I mean, Laporta wasn't that special in the game. I don't know if you watched any of their game this week, but he only had 3 targets.
He had 4 targets, I think.
Oh, he had 4 targets. Anyways, he caught 2 touchdowns. Both of them were just completely blown coverage.
Yeah, but
it's
also
not like he was doing a great job.
Also, that game script was not in favor of the passing game.
Yeah, because they got up so big because
Yeah,
he caught
so-
2 blown coverage touchdowns.
Exactly.
Right
So I
away.
mean, you got what you needed out of the small sample size. But like, if they're in a close game, they're going to pass the ball more.
They might, but I still don't think it's not like Laporta's going to be a 10-target guy very often.
No, he's probably not going to be a 10-target guy, but he's been pretty productive with like 5 to 8.
He'll probably get 5 on average the whole year, I bet.
Sure, and that's what he has been getting, and he's
Yeah.
still been pretty good.
I just don't think he's going to keep getting all these blown coverage touchdowns.
Well, that was last week.
take away those 2 touchdowns last week, and he had a terrible game. 1 catch for 18 yards.
You could say that about every player in the NFL. Take away their touchdown and see what their stats are.
Yeah, but his touchdowns were fluky. That's what I'm saying.
That's how
You should have seen the.
That's how Coach drew it up.
No, it's not how the coach drew it up. It's just what the defense did.
That's what they wanted to happen. That's
They didn't want that to happen. They were just
optimal-
happy that it did.
Well, did you see that that Laporta's touchdown and Kittle's touchdown, or one of them, was the exact same play?
Oh, really?
But yeah, like the shovel back to the quarterback sees the tight end going down, and they throw it.
Oh,
to-
really?
Literally, you could like play them right next to each other, and the exact same
Yeah.
thing happens. It was the same play on 2
But
different
most
teams.
of the time, whenever teams get a play to work like that, they don't get it to work again the rest of the year because teams
Sure.
plan for it the rest of the year. So
Sure.
it works once in a while, but they're not reliable.
Yeah. I also saw that Kirk Cousins, that the Vikings, now that they've lost Justin Jefferson, are shopping the idea of trading him.
Cousins,
Cousins.
they should trade him.
They
Great
should.
idea because
What team do you think he
they're
should go to?
they're 1-4.
They're 1-4. Kirk
They just
Cousins
lost
is
Jefferson.
35.
Yeah, Cousins is old, but he's still good, and I'm
He's
sure
very
they
good.
could get a good haul for him right now.
Yeah. They could try to send him to a team that is competitive, where their quarterback could be upgraded. Like, I don't know, the Jets.
Usually the way things like this go is that Minnesota's going to ask for too much, and nobody's going to be willing to pay what Minnesota wants, and no deal will get done.
Yeah.
But
Probably
in reality,
not.
Minnesota should just be like, hey, we're just going to take the best.
I liked that idea, though, because I kind of want Kirk Cousins to get a ring before he's done. I'm sure he still has like 2 or 3 years left,
Yeah, I mean,
because he's still very good.
he's definitely going to be in the league next year.
I would like for his story to end with a ring. Do you watch Quarterback on Netflix?
I haven't watched it, but I
It's-
heard that he's a big part of it.
He's a huge part of it. It's about Patrick Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, and Kirk Cousins.
Mariota?
Yeah.
He's still in the league?
No. This is they filmed him last season.
Oh, okay.
So they go through the entire season watching their stories. So Marcus Mariota's story ends badly.
You're right.
But yeah, they just follow their story of last season.
Okay.
And
Cousins was good last year.
yeah, he was good last year. It's pretty. I mean, I'm only like episode 2 but it's pretty good.
Yeah, someone else was telling me that show was good. I might check it out sometime.
I mean, you get like behind the scenes on how all those organizations work.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Have you ever watched Hard Knocks?
I haven't.
It's on HBO every year, but they basically do that, but they basically record one team. They choose a different team every year, and they record like really in depth this team for the whole year, and so they kind of just document it, and it's basically like a documentary of their training camp and then preseason and how the season goes, and you get a new episode every week, even throughout the year. So right now, I think they're doing the Jets this year.
That'll be interesting. They're doing the Jets this year.
Yeah.
Where the third play of their season.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers
so
injures
honestly, it's
himself.
probably pretty interesting. I haven't watched
Yeah.
it this year nearly as much as I have in the past, but usually Hard Knocks is pretty interesting.
I would probably like to watch that.
Last year it was the Cardinals.
And it was Kyle Murray.
Yeah, Kyler Murray was a big part of it, and Marquise Brown,
Yeah,
James Conner. It's interesting though.
they should have done the Chiefs that year.
Yeah, right.
Would have had a happy
I wonder
ending.
if I would think they would be trying to do the Chiefs pretty soon.
yeah. Who was it? You said the other day that you don't think the Chiefs are going to make it to the Super Bowl this year.
I don't think they will now.
Who's going to be in the Super Bowl then? Do you think Miami's going to get there?
Could be Miami. There's plenty of other good teams in the AFC. I mean, it could be Buffalo, Miami.
San Francisco?
Well, San Francisco's not in that division, are they?
I was just talking about like both sides.
Yeah, San Francisco could make it, but they wouldn't stop Kansas City from making it. It could be them two in the Super Bowl. But I don't know. It just seems to me like the Chiefs just need more offensive playmakers to really set themselves apart.
Well, Rashid Rice had a pretty good game this last week, which was sad for me because I was playing Max. It wasn't enough to beat me.
Yeah, he had a decent game. But he
to
doesn't
worry.
look like an explosive playmaker. They don't have anybody on their team who's like, hey, we got to get the ball to someone. I mean, outside of Travis Kelce, but I mean, he's been a bit more tame than he has been in the past. I think that's probably just because teams are just keying in on him
Yeah.
because they don't have anyone else that can really do that.
He had a high ankle sprain last week.
He ended up coming back though, right?
He came back.
Yeah, I think
and
he's
he
all right.
practiced on a limited basis today.
Yeah, he should be fine.
So I mean, he'll be fine. But
I just
still,
think
it's
they
like
need
twice this year.
They need someone who can be more of a playmaker with the ball.
Yeah, somebody fast and go down the field that is
Right.
reliable. I mean, like Tyreek Hill was.
Right.
They thought that was going to be McCole Hardman, but McCole Hardman turns out is just
Turns out
fast
he
and bad at
sucks.
football.
Yeah.
And
He's
then-
not even in the league anymore, right? He was with the Jets, and they cut him.
Yeah, they
and
cut
I
him.
think he's with no
not-
team right now.
He's not anywhere. Kadarius
won't play
Toney just kept getting injured, and now it's not looking like.
Remember
he's gonna
John
be able to do
Ross? He was like the first pick in the draft like 4 years ago because he was super fast.
Yep.
The first wide receiver pick in the draft. And he never even had a single good game his whole career.
No. Pretty sad
Yep.
for John Ross.
Yeah, speed it's not enough to just be fast to be a good receiver. You
Nope.
can't just be like, I can run a 4.340. But if you can run a 4.340, NFL teams will sign you to be a receiver. They think you got a chance.
Yep.
But it takes a lot more than that to be good. Back to the parenting thing. What do you think is the hardest thing for you? I think this is going to be different for every single person. For you, what do you think is the hardest thing about parenting? It's definitely different for every single person.
The hardest thing for me is probably my patience with them. Like,
They definitely test your
they
patience.
test my patience all the time. And I consider myself a pretty patient person. And with adults, I am. I'm super patient. I'm super laid back, take the punches, whatever, I'll be patient with you. But if I tell Oliver like 3 times, so, hey, bud, go pick up your shoes. Hey, bud, go pick up your shoes. And he's over there going, blue, 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 blue. Bud, go pick up your shoes. I start getting really frustrated. And
Yeah.
and I don't like that I do that, but it just like comes out of me. Like,
Right.
pick up your shoes.
No, I definitely agree with that. Though I will say it's probably made me more patient. Just because it's given me more opportunities to be patient
probably
when being
true.
patient is hard.
Yeah.
So I think that it's probably helped in that regard of being more patient. But yeah, you're definitely going to get your patience tested when you have kids. I think it's just part of it's because they just require a lot more resources from you
Yep.
to take care of them. So it doesn't take as much for them to frustrate you.
No.
Once you're depleted from resources from all the other stuff you've been doing,
Yeah.
it doesn't take that much. Just one more button pressed and you're like, that's it.
Right now, Oliver's playing the Switch every once in a while, and when he's playing the Switch, he can't read yet. So he'll be playing his Pikmin. He's playing Pikmin right now. He's playing Pikmin, building his dudes, and then they'll go into like a cutscene where there's a bunch of words, and he'll be like, "Hey, Dad, what's that say?" I'll be like, "It says blah 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 blah." Okay, thanks. He presses the button once. Oh wait, Dad, what does this say?
Yeah, right.
It says blah 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 blah. Okay, thanks. Dad, there's more words. So, Bud.
You got to get him a game with no words.
Yeah. Bud. Can't keep sitting here reading you the whole game. But yeah, they probably have helped me with my patience overall. I haven't really noticed it yet, but I'm sure it's there
Right.
because they're constantly testing me on how long my patience
Oh
lasts.
yeah. Well, like you said, you were like, well, I feel pretty patient with adults. That has probably made you even easier to be patient
Yeah.
with adults.
And I don't want to like lose my composure with
Right.
them because I don't want them to lose their composure with me. And if
Right.
if I lose mine, they're probably like, well, and then they have a temper tantrum, and they're like, "Well, Daddy does it."
Right.
I don't want that to be a thing. So I've been trying really hard to just to be willing to be like, pick up your shoes.
Right.
Pick up your shoes. Pick up your shoes.
I think eventually you just have to get their attention better. I think that's all it is. It's
Yeah.
like when they're not listening, which is kind of all the time. It's just because they're not paying attention. Like,
Yeah.
And I think we forget that, like, oh, we have to like make sure that we really grasp their attention when we talk to them. Otherwise, they're just not going to listen.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're easily distracted. Like there's the other day, Oliver was supposed to put his plate in the sink, and so I was like, Oliver, go put your plate in the sink. He's like, okay. He's walking to the kitchen and he sees a toy on the table, and he just puts his plate on the ground and goes and plays with the toy. And then I'm not paying attention to him. I'm thinking he puts the plate in the sink, and I look up and I'm like, there's just a plate sitting on the ground. I'm like, Oliver, why did you put the plate in the sink? He's like, oh, sorry, started playing with my toys.
Right. I was going to, but I saw a shiny thing over there.
Yeah. That shiny thing sounded better than putting this plate in the sink.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, that is not about to get better.
No,
From my experience,
in fact,
of
I
slightly
still
older
do that.
kids.
I still do it. I get distracted.
I think
easily.
like boys in the age of like 6 to 10 are just brutal in that regard.
Yeah.
Cullen's playing flag football, and so I'm helping coach on their team. So we got a bunch of 7 and 8 year old kids. Getting them to like even listen to something for longer than 3 seconds is literally impossible. It's literally impossible. But they have no clue what's going on, and they have fun no matter what happens. After our first game, we lost by a lot, and they all run up to the scoreboard and they're like, "Did we win?" And then we're like, "It's 28-0," and they're like, "What? I can't believe we lost! I thought we were doing good."
Did we win? We didn't score a point. They scored all the
I'm like,
points.
you know how every time we got the ball, we didn't get any touchdowns, and every time they got the ball, they did get a touchdown? That's how we lost.
Did we win? No. But you know what? Good job. You still had fun. You didn't even care that you were getting touchdowns. They were like getting the ball. Is this a touchdown? Is that a touchdown? No. That's funny.
But, kids are really good at not taking things too seriously.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously.
I think that's
They
something
are.
most adults could probably try to take from kids.
Yeah, just finding humor in everything.
Yeah, because in the end, nothing is that serious.
No.
But you forget about it the older you get. Everything feels a bit more serious.
Being a parent is challenging, but also very satisfying, and
It's definitely satisfying. It definitely is. I think people who
very fulfilling.
end up not having kids usually regret it, right?
Yeah, because then whenever you're old, you don't have this person that you raised to take care of you,
Yeah, and
And whenever you're old, it's probably a lot harder to have relationships with people.
it is for sure. I think every single year of your life, it gets a little bit harder to make friends.
Yeah.
Starting from age 1 all the way until you die.
So if you have kids, you always have, no matter how old you are, you always have somebody to talk to.
For sure. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Some
Yeah.
people ruin that, but
As long as you
that's
maintain
based
the
on the
relationship.
choices that they
yeah.
made.
Yeah. But I know you got to get to a parent-teacher
Yeah.
conference today.
That parent-teacher conference is
So
today.
we'll call it there. This is episode 2 of another podcast. We'll be here every week.
Yeah, and also the other thing I was going to say is 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 1. So boom, we're into the top 10%.
There you go, top 10%. And we're going to make it to episode 3 next week.
Yep.
So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.